Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome back to another Terrible Theory remake. This time, we are talking about a theory that I have made like 3 or 4 videos on this channel at this point. Hyrule Warriors is canon to the Zelda timeline, and there is proof. Now, before you click away, there is actual canonical proof that this game is canon. This game right here, this is canon. This is canon to the Zelda timeline, and there is proof in this game, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. Now, before any of you naysayers start saying, "Oh, it's a third-party game, it doesn't count. That's not part of the canon." No, it is. It is. Nintendo themselves, the people at Nintendo themselves, when they were advertising this game, they straight up said that it shows the canon events of what happened during the war 100 years ago. It shows the canon events. They used the word canon to describe this game. Now, yes, it does go into a what-if scenario, but those who know the story of Breath of the Wild will know exactly when this game deviates from the from what the actual story of Breath of the Wild tells us. So yes, while it does go into a bit of a what-if scenario, you can tell exactly when the canonicity of this game stops and when it starts going into a what-if scenario. But up until that point, yes, we are seeing the actual canon events of the game, of the story of Breath of the Wild. We are seeing the canon events, and they use that word canon when describing this game. So, in Age of Calamity, you can get the Hyrule Warriors Link tunic. You can get that. That is your ultimate reward for 100%ing Age of Calamity. The base game, not the DLC. The DLC is a whole other beast. In fact, I don't think I actually finished the DLC, to be honest. I remember I played it for a long time, and 100%ing the DLC, I remember turning out to be super tedious and super annoying to do. And I think I got to like 90% in the DLC before I just said I've had enough. So maybe one of these days I'll go back and finish it, and then maybe I'll make a video talking about what it takes to 100% the game. That could be fun. But in any case, in Age of Calamity, you get the Hyrule Warriors Link tunic for 100%ing the game, and the description for that, I wrote it down. My Switch is currently charging; it's very low battery right now. But I wrote it down. The description for the tunic was as follows: quote, "A green tunic said to be the prized possession of a hero who scoured across many worlds. It seems to fit you perfectly." Age of Calamity, a game that Nintendo themselves have used the word canon to describe, is saying that Hyrule Warriors is an event that happened. And you want more proof? You want more proof? Here's more proof. In Tears of the Kingdom, we learn that Ganondorf, the first ever Ganondorf, was a problem for the early citizens of Hyrule. for Rauru and Sonia, who had founded the Kingdom of Hyrule. And he was sealed away. And basically ever since then, ever since getting sealed away, a new version of Ganondorf or Ganon would appear. And that's how we get the Ganondorfs from Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and even Hyrule Warriors. Now in Hyrule Warriors, we learn that Ganondorf's soul was split into 4 parts in order to try to keep him from reviving. In order to try to keep him from reviving, and it didn't work. He did wind up reviving, and he had to be stopped and sealed. He had to be stopped and sealed away after turning into a giant beast. He turned into a giant beast and caused untold destruction and calamity to the Kingdom of Hyrule. And after being sealed away, it's mentioned that they have to prepare. They have to make sure that they're ready for if Ganondorf ever returns. How are they going to prepare? Maybe by creating divine beasts. And on top of that, in Hyrule Warriors, we see the Rito. We see the Rito in Hyrule Warriors. We see the Rito in Hyrule Warriors, and we see the Rito fighting alongside the Zora. And we see several characters like Darunia and Princess Ruta, who are referenced in Breath of the Wild. Even though this is supposed to be so far in the timeline that nobody should even know who they are. Nobody should even know who either of them are. But if they're from Hyrule Warriors, then it would make sense for them to know who they are. Because because instead of being from like 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, it's a mere 10,000, which does seem like a long time, but it's really not. That's in the same time era. 10,000 years is not an extremely long time when you consider how long humanity has been around. 10,000 years is not that long of a time by comparison. Recorded human history goes back so long, and existent civilization, life on Earth goes back millions of years. So it is not a far-fetch to believe that there could have been a recorded history of the exploits of Princess Ruta and Radanya from Hyrule Warriors. And on top of that, it's mentioned that Princess Ruta had awakened as a sage and fought alongside the hero. We never see her fight alongside the hero in Ocarina of Time. The only time we see Princess Ruta fight, the only time we see her fight is in Hyrule Warriors. That's it. Now, and what about all of the salt? What about all the salt that you can find, all the salt deposits that you can find around the games, around Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? What about all those? Huh? Well, the Great Sea was brought over into the world of Hyrule Warriors as part of the last DLC that the game got. So this would explain why there's so much salt salt all over Hyrule in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's left over from that. And to top all of it off, Hyrule Warriors' map is very similar to the map in Breath of the Wild. It is extremely similar. The placements of Death Mountain and Kakariko Village, Hyrule Castle, the desert, Zora's Domain. It's all there. It's all in the perfect locations. It's all in the perfect locations. It shares a map. Hyrule Warriors shares the same map as all three of these games. All four of them share the exact same map. They share the same map. They share the same map. They share the same history. A canon game is saying that this game is canon. What more proof do you need? There is so much proof that Hyrule Warriors is canon to the Zelda timeline. The only reason people don't want to acknowledge it as being canon is because it's made by a third-party developer. Well, Age of Calamity was made by a third-party developer, and Nintendo has straight up said the word canon when describing this game during their advertisements for it before it came out. They described a third-party Zelda game as canon. So your argument is invalid. Hyrule Warriors is canon to the Zelda timeline. That's all there is to it. And this is the reunified timeline. This is what the reunified timeline looks like. So, that's all I got. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good jazz. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.